I'm Jason Klom, and this is the Comedy on Vinyl podcast. Right now, we're going to be experimenting this week with a little something called the Comedy on Vinyl Listening Party. Hi, that's me. I'm your host. So we've never done this before. May never do it again. Who knows? To the point where I literally just hit my microphone, to which the camera's attached, and to which I also forgot to turn on the light. So there's a lot of real fun stuff we're going to be discovering with one another. But I wanted to try a little something that we're going to be calling the Comedy on Vinyl Listening Party. So I do hope you enjoy this. Now, there'll be a lot of things going on, including me not really legitimately knowing why I can't see certain things or hear certain things. For instance, this is saying that we're live. And I'm pretty sure we are. But it's just showing me a fun little logo, and I'm hoping at some point that the Comedy on Vinyl logo disappears on my end. Anyway, don't know what's happening. Maybe you see me, maybe you don't. Maybe this would be a bit of a failed experiment. If so, it's easy enough to delete this. So what we're going to be trying out this week is Duffy's Tavern. So Duffy's Tavern was an old sitcom from the 40s and 50s, incredibly popular. This is specifically July 29th, 1940 is when this one is from. I don't think we're going to listen to the whole thing. You may know in 2017, I tried to listen to a comedy album a day. Failed miserably doing that because it's difficult. It's difficult to get through them, and plus it's a pain in the ass. The other side of this is my friend Irma. We're not going to listen to both sides. We may not listen to all of side one because literally it would be us listening to someone else's sitcom. But I am going to be giving it a shot here to listen to some of it. I've never heard Duffy's Tavern. This was given to me by, I think, my best friend Dan Gomiller, who I do the Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour podcast with. But I'm going to be picking stuff that I don't think is frankly going to get flagged for copyright issues because it's too old. Too old, and the rights are probably muddled. If not, again, we'll see what happens. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to give this a shot. I'm going to certainly try right now to play this and hope beyond hope that you are actually seeing and hearing what I'm seeing and hearing. So fingers crossed. You can see we've got a little live feed of the of the record player here. So let's give this a shot, shall we?
Hello, Duffy's Tavern, where the elite meet to eat. Special today, pig's pickled feet. Archie speaking, Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, must be 3 or 4 customers here already. You hear that, Duffy? You're in business again. Listen, Duffy, you picked out a very bad time to call up. Yeah, we're just going to go on the air for a broadcast. Now, wait a minute, Duffy. Don't get all excited. It ain't costing a cent. No, the network's doing it for prestige. Well, now, Duffy, I can't brandy words with you now. We're just going on the air, I'm telling you. Goodbye, Duffy. I'll see you later.
Good evening. This is Mal. Duffy's Tavern, where anyone under the sun is likely to drop in anytime to talk things over with Archie. Almost anyone may drop in tonight. People we're sure will be around, however, are Gertrude Neeson, Colonel Stoopnagel, Larry Adler, and John Kirby's orchestra. And now I turn you over to that past master of ceremonies, Archie.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the voice of Duffy's Tavern speaking, formerly Duffy's Bar and Grill and still owned by the same proprietorship. And we take great pride in presenting them great musicians, John Kirby and his high schoolians. They offered their own version of Royal Garden Blues. You will note that in the second chorus, the piccolo player hits a note so high that it can only be heard by a dog. Mr. Kirby. Hello, Duffy's Tavern, where the elite meet to eat. The special today, pig's pickle feet. Oh, hello, boss. Hey, how'd you like Kirby's band? They what? Duffy, they do not. Well, I see what you mean. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is it, Archie?
It's Duffy, Mr. Kirby. He says he thinks your band is great. All right, Duffy, I know. I can't tell a guy that, though. You don't understand artists, Duffy. You know, they're much more insensible than you and me. You gotta tolerate them. Ah, but Duffy, you haven't liked nothing since Chauncey Oak got cracked up on Mother McCrae. You're living in a graveyard full of Irish tenants. Wait a minute, Duffy. Gertrude Nation, no floor show just walked in. What? All right, I'll tell her. I'll speak to you later. Good evening, Miss Neeson.
Hi, Archie.
Say, Miss Neeson, I hate to, I hate to bury sleeping dogs, but Duffy has been complaining about you.
Oh, what's old Novocaine brain squawking about now?
Well, he claims you insulted his best customer, Mr. Feldever K. Beldorf. Was you out to dinner with Beldorf last night?
Yes, and I'll never go out with that crumb again.
Huh?
You know what happened? He asked me to go out to dinner last night, so I go with him. Well, you know how I never like a strange man to pay for my meals.
Yeah, I know.
So I said to him, Mr. Beldorf, I insist that this dinner should be Dutch. But he said he absolutely wouldn't hear of it.
Well, that's nice.
He said I had to pay for him, too.
That's that Beldorf, so what did you do?
Oh, I did what any lady would do. I broke a plate over his head.
What else could you do?
Well, frankly, as man to man, do you think that breaking a plate of soup over a guy's head should be construed as an insult?
No, but Beldorf's a little hypersensitive. Don't like those things. I'll explain it to Duffy, though. By the way, Duffy ain't never heard them golden tones of yours, Miss Neeson. You know, I've told him about you being a great star of the movies and the radio, and when I mentioned that you have been on the stage, he says he had one request.
Look, Archie, even to please Duffy, I will not recite Casey at the bat.
Well, all right then. But would you mind rendering the customers with a song?
All right, I'll do something especially for Mr. Duffy. Does he rumba?
An amusing question, Miss Neeson. Proceed ahead.
Almost amusing. All right. Apologies to anybody who just heard that scratch and pop, and apologies to anybody who didn't see me before. Not that you really need to or want to. I'm just explaining there were some issues, some concerns. I'm just learning this streaming software. Hello, Grandpa. So that is the first several minutes of Duffy's Tavern, starring Ed Archie Gardner. Obviously, Mr. Gardner. My God, this is his pants are autographed. I'm sure that's a joke. I'm sure it's a thing people knew about him. People will be explaining it to me whether I want them to or not. So July 29th, 1940. It is what it is. It's a sitcom, takes place in a bar. I mean, there you go. And there's obviously a lot of music. I wanted to cut it out before there's too much music because at some point the comedy on vinyl part starts to dry up. I did notice in here, this is issued... Fun. Doesn't tell me the year. It might say it on the record itself. Does it? Let's see here. This is the fun of the whole adventure. Let's see. What do we got? Copyright. There we go. 1980. Okay, so this came out 40 years later. It came out the year I was born. But this does come with a little insert. One of my favorite things about records is the inserts. Welcome to the golden age of radio. This is something you could send out. So on the back here it does say the Radiola Company. I'll have to do it in old-timey radio voice. The Radiola Company is an unusual company with an unusual product. We're unique because 1, All of our records contain 1 full hour of programming. 2. Radiola records can be played on any record player, mono or stereo. 3. Radiola records will be issued on a regular schedule. Write for our free catalog. 4. Nothing on a Radiola record has ever appeared on disc before at the time of release. 5. Parts of these recordings may have some surface noise and scratch. This is not a defect of the recording you are playing. We assure you. Doesn't say that. 6. These records are not licensed for broadcast. Doesn't say anything about streaming. Nothing about internet streaming. So, yeah, so you could order them, and they would continually come to you. I'm guessing that this, I'm going to have to look it up, but I'm guessing that this is a thing that didn't last too long, considering it's 1980. Cassette collections of entire series were coming out in the 80s. So, and those are super fun because you can also pick and choose. And I totally understand the comfort of this, like, especially if you grew up with it, but even if you didn't, and you're like, I like old timey stuff. Well, of course you're going to kind of love just listening to this. It is relaxing. That was part of the reason there was just like, I didn't know what to do with it. I had to stop it at some point because it's just, there's going to be a lot of music, and I know there's going to be more. I'll pick another segment at random. We're probably going to cut right in the middle of the scene because there are no tracks, and we'll see what we get. But yeah, so this is the radio yesteryear. So here, oh my goodness, the things that you could get supposedly. Boy, oh boy, we'll go with the comedy, obviously. Jack Benny, Fred Allen, Freeman Gosden, Amos. Whew, okay, so Amos and Andy, Edgar Bergen, Bob Hope, Red Skelton, George Burns, Gracie Allen, pardon me, whatever you want. Fanny Bryce, Ed Wynn, oh, look at me, Eddie Cantor, Jim and Marion Jordan, Fibber McGee and Molly, and Ezra Stone and W.C. Fields. So Fibber McGee and Molly, by the way, is kind of, I actually need to listen to more of it, because Fibber McGee and Molly is part of a subject of an episode of News Radio, my favorite TV show of all time. If you can't tell by the Jimmy James thing back there, and you can't see it, but there's a WNYX cup up there, a real one, not a recreation. So yeah, I'm a fan of old time radio, and they referenced it a few times on, News Radio because it's a radio show. So what we're gonna do now is, again, I have no idea if anybody's watching this at all, but I don't care because this is kind of fun. So this is our first listening party. We're going to continue here listening to a little bit more of Duffy's Tavern. And here we go. This is going to be at random, and I apologize. It's
Hey, the usual absent frappe? Never mind that. Who belongs to the blue sedan parked outside next to the fire hydrant?
Well, what's wrong with that? It's my own fire hydrant.
No, listen, you. Now you listen, Clancy. You're supposed to be a friend of Duffy's. Why do you always come in here annoying the customers?
You listen here, Archie, and don't be giving me no back talk. You keep your customers obeying the law, or I'll close you up.
Well, you can't close us up. We ain't got a license.
Yeah, but I never... Well, don't let it happen again.
Okay, Clancy. Holy smoke, Colonel. If he ever finds out we really got a license, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, don't worry, Archie. I've got a pull with the mayor. I can arrange to have your license revoked.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much, Miss Nathan.
Ooh, nothing at all.
Say, Archie,
Yes, Colonel.
could I interest you in this thing here that I've just invented?
Well, what is it, Colonel? To me, it looks just like a door.
A door it is. It's a bathroom door that you don't have to wait outside of.
You don't have to wait outside it. Well, why is that, Colonel?
Because it opens into a closet.
Gosh, Colonel, you sure have got a furtive mind. I'll bet you'd have a million suggestions how to improve this place.
Well, I have one idea you might use, Archie. I've just invented a brand new drink. It's made by brewing malt and yeast and hops together, and the result is a tangy, golden liquid with a frothy head on it.
But, Colonel, we got that here. That's beer.
That's odd. That's what I call mine.
Now, wait a minute, Colonel. Beer was invented more than 2,000 years ago.
Really? It seems like only yesterday.
Say, Colonel, have you ever tried your hand at inventing an Irish tenor?
Why?
Well, Duffy says either I either get an Irish tenor or I'm fired.
My boy, never despair. I, Colonel Lemuel Q. Stoopnagel, am an Irish tenor.
Aretha, we're saved. Oh, but wait a minute. Duffy only likes Irish tenors.
Ah, sure, me own mother was a queen of the queens of County Down. Ah, she was indeed. Indeed, she was. How well I remember me mother and I
Colonel.
over on the coast.
Hey, Colonel.
South Door Walker.
Hey, Colonel, can you sing with a kind of a catch in your voice, maybe?
Listen, Archie, when you hear me sing My Wild Irish Rose, you'll hear the lakes of Killarney. You'll hear the Shannon River flowing softly down to the sea. You'll hear the lilt of Irish laughter, the salt of Irish tears, the beat of brave Irish hearts, and the wail of the Irish banshee. Oh, she was indeed! Indeed, she was! See what I mean, Archie?
Yeah, that's just what I'm afraid of. If it ain't done right, Duffy will be on that phone quicker than Jack Robinson and tear the roof off me.
Don't worry about a thing, Archie. This will be magnificent. To the pipes, Mr. Kirby. My wild Irish rose.
Colonel, I think you better stop. Hello? This is Finnegan's Pharmacy. This is Finnegan the pharmacist speaking. All right, Duffy, don't get so excited. All right, well, he stopped, didn't he? What? Oh, Duffy. Look, that ain't possible. No, Duffy, it is not possible. All right.
Hey, what was that, Archie?
Nothing. We had a request, that's all.
Well, I'm always glad to oblige. What was the request?
Never mind, you couldn't do it.
Say, Archie. Say, Archie.
Yeah?
Look who just came in. You know Larry Adler, the harmonica player.
Why, sure. How are you, Mr. Adler? Glad to see you.
Hello, Archie. Nice seeing you again.
Say, Archie, you know Larry Adler happens to be the finest harmonica player in the world. You think Duffy would like it?
Apologies for that scratch. I should. Well, you know what? What are you gonna do? There's pretty good bits on there. I'm actually enjoying this. I mean, what are you gonna do about the old Irish stereotype? What are you gonna do? But I don't know what to say about that. But the acting was fun. I do enjoy when you can hear the actors enjoying themselves. It's very. It's one of the reasons I like listening to a lot of improv podcasts nowadays. I don't entirely mind when people break. I don't entirely mind when people go. I'm just realizing, by the way, that I'm not full screen here. See, this is why these things happen. You got to experiment. This is the first time, and literally no one's watching it. So what are you gonna do? I do hope. Where the hell was I going with that? Oh yeah, no, that's it. I like listening to improv podcasts because I like listening to people enjoy themselves. Again, I don't mind if people break. It's actually kind of fun sometimes, not always. And this, when they're redirecting themselves, repeating themselves, and they've got a little too much audience noise, or what we would call a reaction or applause, or enjoying the show. And I knew what was coming with a little bit with the over the phone. He had a request. You wouldn't be able to do it. That's a solid joke. This is one reason I do like old time radio, and I'm enjoying this enough, and I'm starting to sort of be lulled into enjoying Duffy's Tavern so far. I do want to listen to the other side, which I've already forgotten. Yes, My Friend Irma, sure. There are probably a ton of old time radio folks who know this stuff up and down. Feel free to contact me. Recommend other stuff for me to listen to, because I enjoy old time radio, and I'll talk about it on the show more if we if they are on vinyl, especially if there are more of these radiola ones. If you want to send them to us, you can. P.O. Box 805, Burbank, California 91503. Just send that Attention Stolen Dress Entertainment if you want to. You don't have to. I have more records than I should have anyway. I haven't listened to most of them. And you can also, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can email jason@comedyonvinyl.com. Maybe I'll plan one of these ahead of time a little bit more next time, so that I can have you guys tweet in suggestions, or I can actually maybe see your comments, etc. Which I don't know, maybe people are commenting. I'm going to say probably not at this point, because I did not announce this ahead of time. But yeah, so that was Duffy's Tavern. I just thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a mini listening party. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to do like a full, like I'd like to sit and just listen to a full Rusty Warren. But I'm not going to talk over them like I did in the first 2 episodes of Comedy on Vinyl, just so you guys are aware. I'm fully aware that those are not good episodes. I've still had some people after I've commented say, hey, these suck and I'm not going to listen again. It's like, well, I've since edited in a little preamble saying, hey, these suck. You don't need to listen to them. So the first 2 episodes of the Comedy on Vinyl podcast are weird. If you've never heard the Comedy on Vinyl podcast, go to comedyonvinyl.com. Or, we're on every major, you can get the podcast anywhere. Just search for Comedy on Vinyl. We just hit episode 302 yesterday. We've got a few more in the bank, a few more being planned. We had a really big one planned for 300 at some point. And that we're hoping that person comes back, but actually 300 ended up being fun because the person I brought on, my friend Tennille, had never, ever, ever heard a comedy album before. I didn't know that until she got in the room. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, comedyonvinyl.com. Follow us on Twitter. I'm told people don't enjoy necessarily. One person specifically complained that I promote myself too much. Should point out it's a free podcast. I think it's a fun podcast, semi-educational. Definitely you're usually getting information you didn't already have, or you're going to be hearing somebody talk about something you're familiar with. In which case, I get it. Sometimes you get frustrated, but complaining that somebody who's giving you free stuff and who's trying to be an entertainer for a living promotes themselves. To that end, find me on Instagram at Jason Klamm, JASONKLAMM, hashtag the professional blur. I have recently quit my day job and I'm doing extra work. And I'm trying to write a book about doing extra work along with the Comedy on Vinyl book. I'm literally writing 2 books at once. Whichever one takes off first will get finished first, and then the second one will get finished after that. That's about it. Let me know if you'd like me to do more of these. I will do them at more length. This is a bit of an experiment. I'm just trying to figure out how this all works. Setting up 2 cameras, the wires and shit that are just hanging everywhere are insane. So I'll have to figure out a better way to do it. But it was an experiment. So I do hope you enjoyed it. Again, check out the Comedy on Vinyl podcast. I'm not going to end this with any fanfare. I'm just going to end it. But thank you guys for watching. And as always, have a good thing.